Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. I'm still at Tottenham. I'm in the car talking on the Spurs chat as Tottenham Hotspur have just beaten Brentford 2-0 in the Premier League. An own goal and a Heung-min Son goal get Tottenham Hotspur the 3 points. I've got three very special guests to talk through today's performance and result. Let's start with you, Craig. Craig, how are you?
I'm all good, Chris. Thanks. Yeah, all good. Yeah. Nice to get another win, isn't it? So, what's not to like? What's not to like?
Exactly. We've also got Gary. Gary's also in the car, having just come from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Gary, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Bit of a crazy night, bit of a rush. I was late getting in the stadium, late getting out. Just a normal day for me. But yeah, we got the win and we kept the clean sheets. Happy days.
And we've also got, for the first time on this channel, we've got Leo the Lion, singer and songwriter, former singer with The Streets. Leo, thanks so much for joining us. How are you this evening?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, Chris, man. So it's an honor to be on your channel.
It's an honor to have you. It's an honor to have you. Craig, let's start with you. Your thoughts on today's game, because I'll tell you what, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight, Antonio Conte wanted the crowd to be behind the team. They were certainly behind the team. I thought it was a good team performance tonight. Some good individual performances as well. Tottenham Hotspur got the 3 points and real positivity tonight. How did you see it today?
Yeah, I just noticed it was immediately better than let's compare it to the Nuno era. It was just better. It was I wouldn't say 100% better. There's still things we need to improve on, but vast improvements all over the pitch. Thought the defence was solid. I thought Eric Dyer had an outstanding game today. I thought he was fantastic. Skip was excellent, well deserved of his man of the match. Everybody just seemed a bit fitter, to be honest with you, which is what we've been lacking, isn't it? It's just that fitness. Kane looked a little bit trimmer, to be honest, which was good. So still a long way to go. Still a long way to go. But if we just keep plodding on, win our game in hand, and I think we're in the top 4, aren't we? I think that's right. And I'm not dreaming. I'm not, Chris. Yeah. I'm not. You know me. But let's be. That's fact. That is fact. If we win our game in hand, we're in the top 4. So, from things looking pretty crappy a few weeks ago, there's reasons to be cheerful. But let's not get carried away. I'm usually telling you that, Chris, but look, Gary's got in his car. That's a shocker, isn't it? Pick a mix to celebrate, and this is the quietest I've ever heard Gary as well, because his microphone's obviously not as good as it normally is. So, yeah, reasons to be cheerful, Chris, but still work to do.
Gary, your thoughts on tonight's match?
You would ask me when I got 5 jellies in my mouth. My thoughts on the match. I can't say anything about the first 30 minutes because I was stuck in traffic and I missed it. But I got to there's absolutely no chance that has happened, and I think it has gone down as an own goal. So my thoughts were right. But to be honest with you, look, I'm positive. It's a clean sheet. We made a lot of opportunities. We pressed a lot more in the second half. I put a damper on it, but I was looking at that game thinking if it was one of the top 4 teams, would we have got away with a clean sheet and a 2-0? But at the end of the day, we've got the result. We could have really won by 3 or 4 goals. Give us a couple of times. But overall, it was positive. There was a bit of noise in the stadium, which is what I like that. Because Chris, you touched on that. It's been very quiet in the stadium of late for obvious reasons. But I think the fans got behind. I was in the South Stand tonight. Fans were really getting behind the team and stuff, so that was nice. Full time, all the players came over and stuff. It was a good positive result. I'm happy. Kept the clean sheet and we've won the game, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So happy days.
Leo, let's come to you. It's been a dismal week for us Tottenham Hotspur fans. Of course, last Thursday, that defeat in Slovenia against Mura. A number of the players didn't take the opportunities. Of course, it was a frustrating afternoon on Sunday as well. The game got postponed. Tottenham obviously won tonight. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, tonight's game was, it was good. It was solid win, 2-0. We kept a clean sheet. I kind of agree with Gary a little bit. Like, for example, if it was like a top 4 side, I think we may not have got away with some of the plays that we did. But, I'm happy. I know we spoke earlier on the week earlier regarding the Mura game, and I said to you that I was kind of happy we lost that game in a weird way, because it kind of exposed what a lot of fans have been feeling for a lot of time regarding like certain players that we have and how they're not pulling their weight. And it was a good time for us to lose that game, which brought us onto this game, which made Conte, put his foot down and speak to the guys and say, hey guys, you need to, come better than that. And which is what we did. We started this game, positively. You could tell that the players were on it. We played well. We pressed them high. We got the goal through the pressure that we were given. I think, again, I'm happy. I'm happy with today's game. I still think, though, there's definitely some players that need to be moved on. My feelings have not changed despite the win today. I feel Sanchez, sometimes when he got on the ball, I felt a bit like, he lost the ball a few times. And, I think if we're looking to be challenging for titles, stuff like that, or playing the big teams, we can't be having, those lack of concentration in the game. We get punished. But despite that,
he's nervous on the ball.
Yeah, he's just very nervous. He just feels like there's a mistake in him any minute. Like I get nervous. Dyer had a good game. He just felt solid. Dyer, he didn't have mistakes there. He was really good. So first half was good. We got the goal. I think second half when Winks came on, I saw Winks, because I feel a bit sorry for Winks. Everyone's kind of on his case. He's like, when he comes on, he really wants to impress, and then he does a ball and he passes the ball straight to the opposition, and you think, oh no, what he did? But again, he tried. I don't know if he's going to be part of the if he's going to be in the shopping not shopping basket, if he's going to be got rid of in January. But overall, it was a good game. I'm happy. Bring on Norwich on Sunday.
Exactly. Well, Leo, there's a message. It's obviously for you. Chris, give the new guest task to write songs for players on good melodies. So perhaps before the end of the stream, you can give us a good melody on one of the players.
Yeah, maybe we could do that. I was actually thinking, because when I go to the games, I'm thinking, maybe I should start writing some of these like chants, for the Spurs fans. But I don't know how do people do all these songs? Who writes them? How does it work? Is there like a writing team, Spurs fans writing team, and goes, right,
no,
I'm gonna start writing?
You just go to the stadium and you start singing it. That is as simple as that.
Chris, what are we saying? Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? All four of us.
It all started here. It started here tonight.
It started here. We could be like Blue for Spurs.
Make a song about Harry Sanchez, because there might be too many swear words in it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Craig, let's come to you. Now, the starting 11 is the same starting 11 as what Antonio Conte was going to go with against Burnley. Lloris in goal, and then the back three of Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, and then the wing backs of Emerson Royale and Sergio Reguilon. In midfield, Oliver Skipp and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and then the front three of Lucas Moura, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane. I expected this lineup. Did you? Were you pleased with the lineup?
Yeah, totally expected it, to be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to change that unless there was any injuries he had to deal with. I thought it was fairly obvious he was going to go with that lineup. The players were ready to play Sunday. It's a shame the weather wasn't. So, I do feel for people that went up there, yourself included, Chris. That must have been an absolute killer after that Moura debacle. Going all the way out there, the hassle it was to get out there to lose, and then going all the way to Burnley and the match being called off 50 minutes before kickoff. It's just so Tottenham, and it's so Tottenham. But
it's been a long week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
how you do it, Chris.
Yeah, it's incredible. Fair play to everybody that does that, But it was. I think the players responded today. Obviously, they knew that the last game we played was pretty piss poor. Raring to go after Sunday, you would hope, and they did show on the pitch, and it was just good to see the energy, and and the pressing as well. It was just an all-round better performance. But as I said, there's still work to do. And as Leo said there, we've been up against a better team. You know, Brentford didn't really pose us that many issues, really. Tony had a few chances, didn't he? But, you know, let's not get carried away. A better team may well have, well, they would have asked a lot more questions, to be honest. And, you know, Norwich coming up Sunday, good chance to get another 3 points there, but there are going to be harder games.
Gary, let's come to you. As Craig said there, lots to do. But if I was to use two words about this evening, I would say energy and positivity. Because, of course, you know, the season that we've had so far, you know, the performances at home in particular under Nuno Espirito Santo, Antonio Conte does seem to have turned it around. You know, he's had 2 Premier League home games. We've won both of them. We scored 4 goals. We were really struggling for shots on target before this, and we created a lot tonight.
Yeah, but look, that's the thing. What Craig said, I said the same thing when we left the stadium. I was like, look, we can't get carried away. It's only Brentford, but at the same time, we've kept the clean sheet. We've made opportunities. We've had a few chances. I still think there's a slight confidence with Son and Kane. Because you look at last season, the opportunity that Kane and Son had, and they're putting them away. I mean, you would think after Son scored tonight, that second opportunity he had, he would smash that first time. But there's that little bit of confidence. But touching on what Leo said, I don't think it mattered majorly tonight because we were playing Brentford. And it's no disrespect to Brentford. Like what you say, Chris, you can only beat what's in front of you. And Brentford have had some good results this season. But I do feel if we were playing a City or a Liverpool, it wouldn't have been 2-0. But at the end of the day, you know, we've kept the clean sheet and we've won by the biggest margin, like you said tonight, 2-0. You know, which is
our biggest win of the season.
What?
Yeah.
Every win so far this season up until tonight, we'd only won by 1 goal. A 1-goal margin. So it was our biggest win of the season tonight, and it was great to keep a clean sheet. Leo, let's come to you. You know, a lot of people are saying, like Gary's just said, it's only Brentford. There are no easy games in the Premier League.
No,
this is true. This is true. And you know, I saw the Brentford Liverpool game, and you know, Brentford were gaining hard. I mean, they beat Arsenal, right? This season.
Yeah.
So no, to be fair, you know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Brentford because you know they were very solid, they're a very compact team. You know, they work hard, they're very organized, and yeah, I mean, it was especially in the first half. Even though we scored the first goal in the first 12 minutes, it was very hard for us to break through the lines because they were very compact in that first half, and you know, but I mean, like I said, you know, Lloris had a really quiet game. It's not like, you know, he was there saving left, right, and center. You know, I swear I saw him make a cup of tea at one point. You know, with honey and lemon just there, just to clear the flu. But it was a good game, solid game. I mean, I enjoyed it. Brentford, you know, did their thing. I still think we've got enough to beat Norwich. I think with this team that we have, I still think we've got enough to beat Rennes next week. I don't know who we've got. I don't know who we have the following week. But Brighton. Yeah, I think we still have enough purely because Conte is there and Conte is going to demand that from the players. However, you know, my hopes for this season is, you know, I really want to. I hope we can get top 4, but I've kind of wrapped up this season. I've kind of let this season go. I always like to give managers a pre-season. I always like to give managers some time so they can find their players, at least bring their players in, have a good pre-season so you can really cement the way that we play and everything. That when we come back in the new season, it's more of a Conte side. It's more of a Conte team. There's a lot of deadwood players that we have to get rid of, regardless of the game today. My views have not changed on certain players. They need to be out. I'm not going to be, you know, because at the end of the day, I said to you before, I really didn't want Conte to come in and then all of a sudden we are a championship winning side. I didn't want that because what that was showing me is that the players had it in them, but decided not to put it in, you know? And so I don't want players like that. You know, I don't want players that will throw the manager under the bus. I don't want players that will decide to switch it on, or if they're not happy, or if you know the training is hard, I'm not going to be asked. players like Dele Alli. I don't know what's happened to him, but I call him a TikTok player. You know, he's one of those guys. You know, he scores goals and he's going to start doing dances and stuff like that when we're like 1-0 up and you're dancing. 20 minutes gone. Like, what are you doing, mate? You know, things like that. You know, he's getting his hair cut and doing all these. He looks like Bob Marley. I don't know what's going on. You know, and it's like these players like this. I personally, you know, I have on my chat group, I'm talking a lot now, but on my chat group, on my sports chat group, hello to the fellas out there on the sports chat. You know, I always say to them, look, I hate players that celebrate goals, especially when we're 1-0 up. You just scored a goal, you're 1-0, and you're doing all this dancing stuff, doing all this business. I hate it. I hate it with a passion because we're at war, Chris. We're at war. You understand? It's like you've scored, the game's over. We've just got one goal. Get back, regroup, turn and face. Let's get the second one. Not none of this. I've scored a goal. He's doing all this dancing. He's doing all this shimmy, some new TikTok business, new handshake, all this business. And what happens? 10 minutes later, we concede 2 goals and we lose the game. What happened to your dancing there, mate?
And that's coming from a singer.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted to dance, maybe he should come and talk to me. We could do some routines. We could do it properly. If you want to do the dancing, do it for 89 minutes and we're 4-0 up. Dance all the way. Do your tanganga, whatever you want to do. All this music. I'm happy for you to do that, but not like 10 minutes into the game, 20 minutes into the game, 1-0. And we have a lot of players like that that I'm just fed up with, you know. And yes, we won today, but we have to get rid of a lot of players, a lot of them. Ranting. Over to you, Gary.
we will come on to that.
There, Leo, was what I praised Højbjerg about last week.
Yes.
When he got the equaliser against Leeds, the first thing he done, he didn't celebrate nothing. He just said, right, come on, let's get off again. Let's go and get. You need players that will just take the lead, authority, and go for it. And Højbjerg is a perfect example. He ain't prancing around and saying, look at me, I've scored a goal. He's like, right, let's go back and get the fucking winner. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. That you need that. And I watched Højbjerg today in the first half, and he was literally talking to the players, saying, go there, push up, you know, press. I could see him, you know, on the TV, he's literally just talking to the players. I mean, he's a captain for me, you know. He's a leader for me, more so than Harry Kane. I mean, Harry Kane leads with his performance, and he demonstrates with that. But I think with a if you want to be challenging, if you want to be a top player, you need somebody in that team that's going to pick up there and say, "Oi, what are you doing? Get here, move up, what, you know," and then praise him. He's such a passionate player. I mean, I love Højbjerg. He's such an important player for us, and I'm honestly. When we did that shopping spree, when we got him, we also got what's the other guy that plays right back? Doherty. You know, I don't know who else we got, but he's the only one for me that really stood out. And I thought, okay, we've really got a player here. I don't know what happened to Doherty. Doherty's never had for us. He should be in the bin in January. Lots of players should be in the bin in January. But like you said, Gary, Højbjerg is the guy. You need players that's just, you scored a goal, come back, let's regroup, let's get another one. These are the type of players we need, Chris, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's really funny, Leo, that we're only, 18, 19 minutes in. You've mentioned getting rid of players a number of times already. Well, I'll give you the opportunity at the end of the video to give me some names.
Yeah, I got them here. I got them here!
Craig, let's come to you. Comment on screen now. Energy levels were higher than normal. The team's fitness is improving. And Roy Price writes here, games like this will build confidence. We really do need to push on now. Gary, give us a tweet, mate. But Craig, the fitness. Antonio Conte has clearly come in. You know, he's got rid of the tomato sauce. He's got rid of the mayo and the chips and you know, all these other foods, including the sweet as well, I've no doubt. The fitness does seem to be that little bit better already.
Yeah, it does, and it actually shows just how unfit the players were a couple of weeks ago under Nuno, and even before that. You know, we've said before many times in here, and we probably get a bit of stick talking about Pochettino all the time, but the fitness levels under Poch were always the best in the Premier League, and we were still running on the 90th minute. And you could see some of the players were blowing out their asses after 90 minutes or 80 minutes, you know, just tiring very, very quickly and too early, and just not putting the miles in. I'd love to see the stats for tonight. Actually, I'll have to look that up tomorrow to find out exactly what the running stats were. But again, like you say, the energy levels were high, and you know, ultimately that is generally going to win your football matches. If you're going and going and going to the 95th minute, if you've got that energy and you're still pressing, you could see at the end of the game what Højbjerg was still trying to do is running forward. Won a free kick. He was in their box. And that's one of our holding midfielders. So yeah, it was really good to see. Really good to see. And I think Antonio Conte ain't gonna be one of these managers like Nuno that just stand. We can see. I was loving it, Chris. Actually watching him tonight. I'm sure you were too. But when the camera was actually pointing down on to that side of the pitch, he was everywhere. He was told to get back in his box. Must be about 20 times. Yeah. You know, and it's great just to see a manager telling them. You could argue that he shouldn't have to tell the players where they need to be, but. And like my wife said, because my son asked, why is he always telling them players what to do? And he's saying because they're not used to this. They're not used to playing his way, and that will calm down eventually towards, you know, once they learn his ways. I said it's not going to calm down because that's what Conte's like. He's constant. Yeah. He's constantly on them, and he will not let their energy levels drop. He will run you into the floor, and he'll prove that you'll get your just rewards at the end of it. So, you know, I think he's a great addition to the Tottenham family, if you like. Conte, he's a superb manager. His record speaks for itself. He's a current manager that's won. Not like Mourinho, you could argue his best days are behind him. You know, he won Serie A last year, and you know, if he's the only thing that does worry me a little bit, Chris, is if he can't do it. Right? Who out there is left that could do it? Who is a better manager or on par with Conte? Because I was thinking about this. The only two in my mind are Klopp and Guardiola, and you're not going to get either of them. So if Conte can't do it, whether it be with this bunch of players or if he's backed in the transfer windows, then I do fear for us a little bit. But you know, let's not stress.
Yeah, let's not even go there yet. Gary, let's come to you. Gary, let's come to you. Antonio Conte's starting 11. Surely he trusts these 11 players because he seems to be choosing these players a lot. You know, in the Mura game last week, he gave a number of opportunities to players that, you know, perhaps you could call them fringe players, players that don't get a lot of game time. What do you think he will do going forward? You know, because we have got games coming thick and fast. We've got 9 competitive games during the month of December.
Well, listen, as much as we don't like some of them players, and we're like, you know, that's the end of Sanchez, that's the end of Dawkins, and you know, and so on and so on. These players are going to have to be played at some point because we're going to have to rotate, and there's going to be injuries. We've just seen what's happened to Romero now. It is what it is, you know. But at the end of the day, going back to what Leo said, I think the best thing that could have happened is we did lose to Mora, just like the best thing that happened that was to Man United. And I know at the time it was horrendous, but you know, every cloud has a silver lining, and I do believe that he already has a good idea who's out and who's in. Whether that's all doable in January is another thing. So it's going to be maybe 25%, and then we'll make the summer window. But at the end of the day, mediocre soccer teams, if we can get them better, then maybe we can get some results. I think, you know, Dele Alli didn't come on tonight, and when you look at them two players, they haven't even had a minute on the pitch. Is he saving them for Thursday for the Europa Conference, or has he decided to put them in the Premier League?
Leo, let's come to you. Now, of course, Antonio Conte, you know, when he arrived, I'm sure that you were very happy, like all of us Tottenham Hotspur fans. Straight after tonight's game, he's come out and said the players know my thoughts very clearly. They must enjoy the win until midnight tonight. And then at 12:01, we must begin to think about the weekend's game against Norwich City. Now, this is a born winner. How happy are you about the, you know, the appointment of Antonio Conte?
Listen, I don't know about anyone else, but I was disappointed when we sacked Mourinho. I don't know what everyone else, but I was disappointed.
Me too, I was.
Because Mourinho for me is a winner. I love people that no nonsense manager, and he came in at the wrong time, and players were just doing the thing. When Nuno came, I wasn't a fan. Not one day. I didn't even watch any of the press conferences. He was so dull and boring. He didn't even I wasn't. Couldn't even write songs anymore because I was not motivated when I watched him. So when eventually we got Conte, mate, I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic because I like. What was that? Show me. I don't know what that is, but it looks nice. But when Conte came, when we got Conte, I was ecstatic because he's a no nonsense manager. You know, he's a guy that likes to win. He takes. I saw a clip of him when he was grabbing one of the assistants. I think it was Chelsea assistant, grabbing them by the collar and was like, "Shout to do something." I like that passion. He's so passionate. He's a winner. What does he say? Material winner. That's I love him for that. I watched him against Leeds. I was at the Leeds game, and I literally saw him on the side. You call people that call him the orchestrator, the guy that's orchestrated. But for me, I felt like he literally had a PlayStation pad. The way that he was just telling players, "Come here, you go there, stand there, blah blah blah," and I reckon he's actually playing FIFA. He's the real life FIFA player. You know, other managers will sit on the side. Benitez will write notes, chew gum. He's literally saying, "You come here, stand here, do there, blah, blah, blah. You come here." But he's literally orchestrating the whole foot. It's like he's playing FIFA. And that's why he's winning. Someone should literally get him a PlayStation pad. Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know why I think the fans absolutely love it, Leo? Is the fact that because all of us are shouting at the players about doing things, when we can see our manager doing exactly what we're trying to say to the players.
Come on now.
You know, we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, aren't we?
Absolutely. And even today, when we scored the first goal, the passion that he has, he was celebrating like we won the FA Cup. You know, he went gone there hugging. And this is if you're a player, this is what you want to see. You know, you want to see your manager show that level of passion. It makes you want to raise your game because how can a manager? He's not even playing, but he's showing such enthusiasm and passion. I need to raise my game up. Fans look at that and think they need to raise it. Even he was orchestrating the fans at the league and telling the fans to come up. You know, speak up, support the team. That's what we love, Chris. We love all that. And I'm so happy. I don't really get gassed when it comes to managers. I was gassed a bit with Mourinho, but I'm more gassed with Conte. And I'm happy for the appointment. I hope we back him. I hope Levy supports him. I don't think we're going to do much in January. That's why I'm thinking, you know, after the World Cup, some fresh players might come. You know, we can get. We've got that. What's he, Paratici guy? I hope he doesn't go to prison. But you know, what I was saying. Why is it always us? We get something good, but it's always Spursy, isn't it? Spursy. Like, why? He's like, "Oh, Paratici, I'm going to jail now. 50. I'm doing 15 to life."
You couldn't write half this stuff, could you?
Wait, what's going on?
He does his press conferences live from Parkhurst. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Craig, let's come to you. Who was your man of the match tonight? Because personally, I thought it was Oliver Skip. You know, there were a number of good performances out there though tonight.
I can't argue with Oliver Skip, but for me, it was Eric Dyer. I just thought he was sensational. I was watching him for a period of time, and he was marshalling that defence. He was saying he was calling the line. He was doing a lot of work there. I don't think he put a foot wrong tonight, Eric Dyer. I really think he was superb tonight. For me, between him and Skip, but for me, Dyer just edged it tonight. I just thought he was immense tonight.
Craig, do you think Dyer would escape the Carl in Conte's team? Do you think he'll be still part of Conte's team?
I do, and I think he'll be part of the three-man when Conte's got the players in, if he wants more centre-backs. I mean, with Romero being out, I think we're going to go in for another centre-back. I think Dyer will be part of that, and I think he'll possibly play in the middle. Yeah, I do. And I do. And the reason I say that is Leo, is because what we see, don't get me wrong, Dyer's had some shocking games, but every single manager has picked him. Every single manager, you know, Mourinho loved him, Mason, and now even Nuno, for all his failings, and now arguably one of the best managers in the world. Well, he is one of the best managers in the world. He's a stalwart in his defence, and when he's fit, he plays.
Do you not think it's because we don't really have that much option?
well, that's another way of looking at it. In fact,
come on, Leo, we're trying to be positive here.
Yeah,
I want them all out.
No, Leo, it's funny you say that.
No, I like that. I like that.
Leo's coming on. He wants to sell all our squad, and he wants a brand new set of players.
Yeah, I feel like I've got Eric Dyer's back here, and like Leo's just pounding him. No, he shouldn't be in the team. No, it's funny. No, it is funny. It's funny you say that because I've got a message during the game from a friend, and he said, "Why does he continue picking Dyer?" And I said, "Well, Romero's injured, and he don't fancy Rodon, and you know Tanganga's, he's kind of been slipping in a right back, hasn't he? So." You could argue that's all he's got and he's best of a bad bunch, but I genuinely think Eric Dyer's played pretty well this season. So I think he's probably earned his place as well.
So what do you think about Emerson Royale?
Jury's still out for me. I totally agree with what Glenn Oddle said on the commentary. He has some good games. And the thing is, I've said this to Chris and Gary before, Leo. Rightly or wrongly, I compare every right back or right wing back with Kyle Walker, and that's probably not a good thing to do because I loved Kyle Walker and Kyle Walker was fantastic and he still is. So it's difficult, but when you've had a player as good as that in that position, it's human nature. That's what you're going to do. You think, oh God, he's not as good as Kyle Walker. So I think he's got potential, and it'll be interesting to see how he does over the coming months because he's settled in reasonably quickly. You know, he couldn't speak English. Moving to a foreign country, different climate, different team, different everything, different ethos and everything. So he seems to have slotted in well. He's definitely our best right wing back, I will say that. I think Tanganga has had good games, but he's had some not so good games. Doherty just not good enough. So, you know, again, you could argue he's best of a bad bunch, but I wouldn't. That's a bit unfair. I think he is a half-decent player, and I think he's going to progress pretty well, to be honest.
Do you think we got the? Do you think? Sorry, Chris, I'm taking over your job.
That's all right.
Don't worry about that, mate.
Yeah. Do you think though that we got the better deal from? There was what's his name? Tomas, the guy that plays
Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu, do you think we got the better? Because we were after him at one point, and I thought he was pretty solid. He looked really strong and composed. Do you think we got the better deal? Out of the two?
God, that's a great question. I mean, he played fantastic against us, didn't he? The thing is, Tomiyasu played fantastic against us.
Yeah.
And I don't really watch much of Arsenal. I watched the last half hour tonight. He hasn't been brilliant. If you give me a choice between the two, I'd probably go for Emerson, but that might just be me having seen more of him, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, he's not a bad acquisition. We've certainly made worse signings, I'd say, Leo, to be honest with you.
We definitely have. It's just because because I watch players a lot, and for me, like he seems a bit rash on the ball sometimes. Even in today's games, there were certain times when I just didn't feel he was composed on the ball.
Sanchez
is the worst one as far as I'm concerned.
I think Royale, I've been quite impressed with Royale, but for me, Romero was the one that used to make me worried. I used to think Romero was very hot-headed.
Right.
And out of the two, if one of them was going to get injured, I know it sounds terrible, but I'm actually relieved it was Romero, not Royale. Because out of the two, I prefer Royale. I think Romero has got a foul in him more and gets booked and is a bit more hot-headed. But in regards to Sanchez, Sanchez is Sanchez. That brings us back to we ain't got much option, isn't it? It is what it is.
I think there's so much more to cover than these players, which is a great thing. Gary, let's stay with you. I want to talk a little bit about Oliver Skipp because, as I said, I thought he had a tremendous game today. And when you think about it, he is keeping someone like Tongion Ndombele out of this Tottenham Hotspur team. Our record signing at £65 million, Oliver Skipp. Now, Conte was talking about Skip straight after the game and said Oliver Skip played really well. The player is very young. He had a lot of space for improvement. He played with great passion and heart. It was important. We're talking about an important prospect. Now, Jose Mourinho said about Oliver Skip as well that he would be a future captain at Tottenham Hotspur. Your thoughts on Oliver Skip tonight?
Brilliant. You know, when he was out on loan, I was watching him quite closely. And again, you know, he had an amazing season, confident on the ball. And literally like what Mourinho said, Mourinho can see it. He's and the thing is, ability-wise, he hasn't got as much ability as like Dombele has. But at the end of the day, Skip is giving everything. Skip is going for every ball. He's tracking back. He's outplaying his ability, whereas Dombele has the ability, but he's not bothered. And you know, I love Dombele. I'm a big fan of him, and I would say, you know, I've said on many occasions, a 50% fit Dombele is better than 100% Harry Winks. But that's not the same with Oliver Skip, because Oliver Skip has talent and he has fight. So that's why Dombele and Dele Alli are not getting a look in, and I think rightly so. I think rightly so. Oliver Skip is, you know, getting that position there, and he should be. He's giving it, and he's got some talent, mate. You know, I don't know if he'll get captain over Højbjerg, if I'm honest. I think Højbjerg will be captain.
Well, let's stay with you, Gary. Roy writes, 2 guys sitting in the cars. It's a bit iffy.
This normal Thursday night dogging in Tottenham. This is just what we do, you know?
Especially if one's turned on by sweets and the other gets turned on by panels.
What we do, when you dog in Tottenham, you don't touch the lights, you just shake your pick and mix sweets.
You know, one good thing about tonight is the quietest I've ever known Gary to be.
Chris, you should wind your windows down and just let Gary shout into your car from where he's sitting.
Leo, let's come to you. You've spoken a lot about the players that you'd like to get rid of in the transfer windows. But who impressed you tonight? You know, what Tottenham Hotspur players stepped up to the mark for you tonight and you know, put a real shift in?
Well, you know, Craig said it, Gary said it. Dyer had a great game today. Skip was immense. Skip was good. It was Skip. You could tell Skip is passionate, strong on the ball, he's composed. You know, he just does. I like him on the ball. I don't feel nervous when he gets the ball. I feel like he's going to do something. Son had a good game. Son, you know, Son always gives 7 and above plus. I love Lucas Moura. I don't think Lucas gets as much credit as he should, but Lucas is fantastic. He's great in the air as well. Very direct, very strong, and really strong player for his size. So he had a good game. Who else? Lloris didn't really do much. Højbjerg had a good game.
Yeah.
Who else? Kane was all right. He held the ball up pretty good today. He was all right. Sorry, what's that?
Needs a goal, didn't he? Badly.
Yeah, he needs a goal. But you know, I think I'm not worried about. I don't think we should be worried about Kane anyway, because he's done it. He's done it season in, season out. So he'll get it. You know, even though I do honestly believe that Spurs play better without Kane. I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of things for saying that, but I think when he came back, because we started this winning 3 games, and when he came back, we started losing. I was like, here we go, it's Kane. You know,
you know what's gonna be on his mind, Leo.
What's that?
He's got 167 Premier League goals, right? And he's 28. Is he now, Kane?
Yeah.
Shearer. I mean, Shearer was in his prime. Well, all footballers should be in their prime, 27, 28, 29. This should be the seasons he's banging in 30, 25, 30 goals a season. He'll be thinking about that record, you know. It only gets harder as you get over 30. So I'm not saying he can't do it, because I hope he does. I think he will. But, you know, he's got 100 goals to go to catch Shearer. And
I think he'll do it. I mean, the season's, what, we're quarter of the way in, or halfway through, something like that. But we've got some time.
The thing is, Leo, it's surprising, isn't it? It's the 2nd of December, and Harry Kane has only scored 1 Premier League goal for us. Mad, isn't it?
It's mad. It's crazy. But we say this about Kane. We said about, was it August or September, he doesn't score. There was that thing that was happening right there. But last season despite what everyone was saying about Mourinho's gonna be very negative. He was banging it in. Top assist, top goal score. Kane always proves people wrong. We should not doubt him. He's not having the best time, but the whole team is dodgy. The whole team is a wash. The whole team is a waste. So we've got Conte in now. We need to bring in a midfielder that's going to be able to deliver the through balls. And Ndombele is not really cutting it. He annoys me.
Such a shame.
Such a shame,
Leo, I just want to stay with you. I'm going to go a little bit off topic here, but obviously the other day the Ballon d'Or was announced that Lionel Messi won, yet again. But Harry Kane, you've just mentioned it there, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up because what you mentioned, top assists, top goal scorer last season in the best league in the world, and Harry Kane finished 23rd. What on earth is that about?
That's when you cross people's palms with gold and silver. That's what happens. You get friends making decisions behind the scene. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, even Ronaldo should be above Messi right now. Ronaldo's phenomenal. I mean, he scored 801 goals today in the Premiership. Messi, is only played majority of his career in Barcelona. And yes, don't get it wrong. Messi's amazing. He's gone to PSG and he's not really, this season has been a bit pretty dead. And to give it to him is pretty much, it's kind of like, I don't want to say the word, but it's kind of like pooping on people like Lewandowski, Harry Kane, all these other players that have actually put in shifts, this season and banging in goals consistently. Harry Kane should, 23rd is a bit of a pee take, Are we allowed to go on your channel?
You do whatever you like.
No, I'm not. I have too much respect for you, Chris. Maybe when you invite me. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, do you know what? It's like what you said about Mourinho. I mean, I'm sure you watched the All or Nothing documentary.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about Mourinho. He was true to his word when he said, Harry Kane, I'm going to make you explode and make you even bigger than you are. And I don't know what it is this season, but last season, Son and Kane were just smashing for fun. It was absolutely ridiculous. And not much has changed really with the team, but for whatever reason, it's just not working. I think it will come like what you said. And, Son got off the mark tonight. And it's a shame Kane didn't get one tonight because I think it would have done his confidence a lot of good. But I think Norwich on Sunday is a perfect opportunity for Kane to get a goal. I mean, that's where he's got to be scoring. But it's just crazy how many goals and assists they got together, Son and Kane. It was just
it's amazing. But the reason I believe that happened was Kane had a good relationship with Mourinho.
Yeah.
And Mourinho's a no-nonsense guy. Mourinho's a winner, and Kane is a winner. So it makes sense that Kane is going to play. Kane's going to listen to Mourinho. You understand? Same thing with Son. You've got a manager that wants to win. That's a winner, and so Kane kind of understands that. But then we've got other players that didn't work. They didn't get it. They didn't like to work hard. They're not winners. They're not consistent, and that's what happens. But I have faith in Kane. I have faith in Conte. I have faith in the fact that Conte is a winner, serial winner. I think he's definitely gonna bring it out of Kane. I think if we can't get someone in January, Conte, we trust him to bring somebody in the summer that's going to help Kane, that's going to provide the through balls, the crossing in. Kane needs to be in the box. We used to see Kane banging, heading goals in the box. We used to see Kane picking the ball up through on goal, finishing it off. We're not really seeing that this season. It's purely because even Kane knows that we have waste players in that team. And so that's why he's coming in extra deep. And the players ain't there. And I think, so just to say one thing, I don't know whether we can continue to play Højbjerg and Skip in the same team if we want to have some sort of creative player to provide. Sorry?
That creativity, like you said.
Yeah, because both of them great to defensively. I think maybe once if we're 2-0 up or up 90 something minutes ago, maybe you can bring in a skip or whatever to hold it in. I think moving forward, I don't know if we're going to have to sacrifice, because he plays a 3-5-2. I don't know whether we're going to have to sacrifice one of the two for creative player, or we might have to change the formation. You know, I don't know how we're going to do it, but
that's what's so frustrating about Ndombele and Lo Celso.
Yeah,
Three of them have really given us what we expected, and that's what we're missing. Because Craig, you say it every time, we've not replaced Eriksen, and that is the problem. We don't have that playmaker, and that is the issue. You know, people could run and rave and give Harry Kane the hard time as much as they want, but it's quite obvious, and people will say, "Oh yeah, but we were playing weak teams, England," but he was getting the service in those games. You know, if you give Harry Kane the service, I don't care what team you're playing against, whether it's Man City or whoever, Burnley, he'll score the goals. But he's dropping deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's a no-go, man. It's just not going to work. You know what I mean? It's frustrating, but I don't know if we're going to get that guy in January. That's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Craig, let's come to you. Before we talk about the key moments of the game, just wanted to talk about Ndombele, because where I sit, the substitutes warm up right in front of me. And Dele Alli come out, running up and down the touchline, stretching, doing all the things that they normally do. Ndombele come out. His body language was awful for me. You know, he just wasn't really moving very much. He was just walking along the touchline. He must be very, very annoyed. But when you see like performances like last week, you know, he's not exactly talking himself into that starting 11, is he?
No, and I'm kind of at that point with Ndombele now where I just want us to sell him and get what we can for him. You know, I've been on here before and I've said he's probably the most naturally gifted player at Tottenham at the moment, which is frustrating as hell. A player with that much ability, but can't be bothered. It seems can't be bothered to do the hard yards and put the work in, because he could. I'm convinced he would be our Player of the Year if he had lived up to his ability. And I just find it astounding. Somebody with that much talent just doesn't want to use it. The thing is, perhaps I'm convinced as well that the Premier League is just not for him. He might do better in the Spanish league or an Italian league or wherever, but he's just not a good fit for the Premiership. He's just, like you said, his body language and everything is just all wrong, which is a real shame, because when he's on his game, he's unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. Can you imagine an on fire and Ndombele and Dembele in the middle together? If Dembele was, you know, he's frightening. And as Gary said, playing alongside an Eriksen, having an Ndombele and an Eriksen in the team, Christ, we'd be unstoppable as far as supply line goes for the strikers. But he just doesn't do it enough for me, Chris. And you know, I sent you my list of players that I would get rid of, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago, and I would move on Lo Celso as well, because he just hasn't done it for me. Again, he's had a couple of good games. I still don't know what he is. I still don't know where his best position is. And for me, his time's up as well. And is that, you know, people say we haven't spent money in transfer windows. It is wrong. We've spent a lot of money. Lo Celso and Ndombele between them is well over £100 million. But is it just bad recruitment? And that's what it comes down to, you know. We get rid of them two and get in one decent player, proven playmaker. I think that would go a long way to helping us, to be honest with you. You know, I don't. If you give me a choice of a playmaker anywhere in the world, I mean, you take De Bruyne, obviously, but outside of De Bruyne, I'm not sure who I'll go for, other than Christian Eriksen, somebody like that. Obviously, Eriksen's only just starting to train again, isn't he? But it's a difficult one, because it's such a sought after position. You know, I think the top players in the world are at the top clubs, as you'd expect, and you're not going to be able to get them. So you're going to have to have a good scout around, and I hope that Paratici has got his ear to the ground, assuming he's not in prison. So let's see. They'll have targets. He'll have targets already marked out with Conte. You know, they will know who they're going to be.
We will definitely talk about signings on this video. I know Craig and Leo, you're itching to talk about signings and players out the door.
I mean, I just don't understand when with these players like Ndombele, it's like I don't get it. Like you're like, don't you want to play? Like, don't you want to be part of it? Like, I don't get it. Why?
Mental.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Forget the money because you're rich anyway. You're getting paid. Yeah. But this is your passion. Do you not want? Do you feel like I'm such a good player beyond there? When you look at people like Ronaldo banging in goals, making records, don't you feel in your heart like, you know, I need to be, you know, I've got a bit, I need to be up there. And then you're just there trudging and doing all this business, mate. It's a joke. Like I said, players like that.
This is why, Leo, I will never understand when we get these cup games and players, you know, like last week, got their opportunity under Conte. You know, Conte in the honeymoon period as well. We would want to impress this serial winning manager coming in, and none of them took their opportunity. And that's why I don't understand it either. You sound very much like what I've been saying the last few weeks.
Is it a mental thing? What is it, or is it they're literally saying I can't be bothered? Is it, or is it because it can't be? Oh, I'm confident because you're playing against a dead team. Because Moore are not really a top team. How are you going to let these guys skin you? How are you going to let these guys just pass the ball around you? Do you not have any self-respect?
It might even be that some of us Spurs fans think that some of these players are better than what they actually are.
Well, you know, that's me. I don't think they're. I think they're waste. Sanchez. I don't even know how Sanchez is a Premiership player. I don't even know how Sissoko was a Premiership player. You know, like I'm thinking, how is this guy getting into a team? I think someone said to me he was even captain at Watford. I was like, who? Sissoko? Are you serious? And we had players like this week in, week out.
Sorry, Chris. Can you just ban that idiot in the comments, please? You'll be able to see the one I'm talking about.
Gary, let's come to you. Craig talked a little bit about Lo Celso there. With this team that Antonio Conte seems to be choosing at the moment, where does someone like Lo Celso fit in? Gary?
Oh, sorry. So is that me? Say that again.
Where does Giovanni Lo Celso fit in? Because, like Leo said there, you know, lack of creativity in midfield, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Oliver Skip. Where does Lo Celso fit in the system?
Be a little bit like a super sub. You bring him on. I remember we brought him on. It was at Man City, and within 60 seconds he scored. And there's times where he looks really good, but to be honest, he just fades and disappears in games. And the frustrating thing about Lo Celso is any little tackle or thing, he's on the ground. Over he goes. And he's not doing it in a way that benefits us, like what Harry Kane does. He's just going over. We're not getting anything from it. We're not even getting a free kick. So like with Lo Celso, there was glimpses when he was coming on as a sub. And I remember there was a period of time where a lot of Tottenham fans were saying, we need to start Lo Celso because when he comes on, he's so good. Well, we did start him on many, many occasions, and he's just gone from bad to worse. But I just want to touch on Ndombele, because we were talking whether it's an attitude thing or he can't be bothered else. But I think some of it stems back to when he was left out of the final by Ryan Mason. I think he had a real problem with that. And me personally at that time, I would have played him over Harry Winks because he was playing quite well at the time. And I think not playing him in the final was a big mistake. But as we know, Ryan Mason is good mates with Harry Winks. That's why that happened. But I think off the back of that, I think ever since then, I don't think he's been interested. And I think honestly, it might seem like it's too extreme, just that one game in the final. But I think that was the start of Ndombele not wanting to be at Tottenham. And that's it. And I think that was the start that sparked it. And it's just gone from bad to worse. He doesn't want to be at the club. It's just as simple as that, you know?
But he's there. He's there now. So why can't he, you know, if he doesn't want to be at the club, play well so that it's a win-win if you play well. Yeah. You play well, you get glory, you get in the team. You play well, you can get sold at the end of for more money to a better team.
The better he plays, the more opportunity he's got to leave the club anyway. But
exactly.
It's bizarre. He's on like almost £250,000 a week, you know, and he's just not interested.
It doesn't make sense. I really need to find out what goes on in these football players. You know, I don't think
a month he's earning, and he's not even getting in the team, but he's still getting paid his wages.
Do you think it's this new generation? Because I'm a fan of players like Roy Keane. I like the guys that are just, you know, the Roy Keanes. Give me some other players like that. They're just the no nonsense players, you know. John Terry's.
You said it earlier, Leo. Roy Keane actually says, you know, going to war. When you're going out on that pitch, it's like going to war. He wants to win. There's none of this, you know, mucking about, dancing on the pitch, and you know, doing all that celebrating like you said earlier.
None of that nonsense.
Even players that weren't very talented, like Vinnie Jones,
Phil Neville,
player, but at least he went out there and gave his all. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Lampard. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think. I mean, Lampard. I think was it. Scholes said something once. Scholes was talking about. No, was it Rooney? One of the guys. Said that, you know, Man United they previously lost the game the day before, and he came into the changing room, and I think it was Rooney, and he said he saw Pogba and Lingard dancing in you know, and he said that he couldn't understand because he was furious from the game last night, but then it's like he's seen these guys dancing in the changing room, and for me, it's like if I see that, I know you're not a serious player. You're not serious because what is this? Like you don't care.
You're right, because Roy Keane said it. I don't know if it was Man United Liverpool, but at the end the players were cuddling and stuff. And I remember Roy Keane saying like, "I can't believe at the end of the game they're cuddling each other." He goes, "I'd be willing to smash their faces in." Cuddling the other player on the other team, and they've just come to your ground and beat you. Like, where is the mentality? I don't understand it.
It don't make sense.
Why are they not getting angry and going mental like we are as fans? You know what I mean?
I think it's TikTok. I think we need to blame TikTok and Instagram. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
They want to be trending every game with a new, what's this thing? This thing, or I don't even know how to do it. Or one of these things. Chris, you know how to do it. You see it every week. What are you talking about? What are you saying?
Leo, just wanted to ask you, what have you made of Antonio Conte's system so far since he's been Tottenham manager? Because we all talk about Harry Kane dropping deep so much. You know, the top assist maker last season, as well as top goal scorer. But with that lack of creativity in midfield, you know, what does need to change going forward? Because we all keep seeing it, that lack of creativity in midfield. You know, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Oliver Skip, they're not creative players. You know, they're there to defend and help the defence out. You know, what needs to change there? Because will Harry Kane need to keep dropping deep in order to feed the ball through to him in front of Lucas Moura?
Well, I think the first fundamental thing is the defence. I think that's the first fundamental thing that Conte needs to fix. And that's not even with personnel. That's also with the team, the way that are positioning and stuff like that. That's the first thing he needs to drill into these players. Then moving forward, we have to look at how we're going to bring in new players, fresh players, especially in defense for sure, 100%. But in the midfield, I think we're up front, we're good with Harry Kane. We definitely need another striker. I think you know, that's is key. We had the Brazilian guy last time, and I felt sorry for him because he literally didn't even get a look in. But we definitely need a striker. If we can get this Valles guy, I forget his name, that could be great. But we definitely need a striker moving forward. We definitely need a creative defender. We definitely need some new defense. We need about 5 or 6 players minimum. I don't know what's happening with Lloris regarding goalkeeping. I don't know if there's any other goalkeeper. Our second string goalkeeper, what's his name? Goalie. What's our
Galini.
I'm not really a fan. Really, doesn't really do much for me. So Lloris is the best we have. He's a world-class goalkeeper. Hopefully he's got a couple more seasons in him. But you know, I'm comfortable having him for next season. So yeah, 5 more players minimum. We need striker, midfield, and rehaul of the defense, and most importantly, it's not just about who we sign. Most important who we get rid of, because we don't want none of these like TikTok players just being that negative and being that because I don't know what they like because they're not playing. Players like Dumbelli or Dele Alli, I don't know what their attitude is like in the changing room, if they're supporting the team. We just need to get rid of those type of players and bring in winners, people that have that Højbjerg mentality, that Skip mentality, that Conte mentality.
Now, trust a person called Chris to mention trophies, and it's not me on this channel. Great comment. Thanks for your comment, Chris, on screen now. Craig, let's come to you. Loving the content as always, Chris. Thank you very much. Do you guys think Antonio Conte will get the best out of all the squad and place the club in the top 4 plus a cheeky cup trophy by the end of the season? I'm certainly hoping so. If we can get a couple of additions in the January transfer window, who knows what we can achieve, because Antonio Conte is the man. I've got, he's got my full backing, Antonio Conte. I think he can produce trophies at this club. I'm very confident of that. Craig, how are you feeling about that?
I'm really happy because it's just another chat that's gone by where I don't have to give any money to charity because you said the word trophy. So I'm dead happy about it. No, of course I would give to charity if Chris, what it was, I said to Chris, any chat that I'm on with him, if he can go the whole chat without saying the word trophy, I'll donate some money to a charity of his choice. And we haven't got there yet. You still said the word. You could have said. Actually, you didn't. Play it back. You actually mentioned the word trophy, which is brilliant.
Fair enough.
We can all dream, and that is ultimately what we're here for. We want to see Tottenham Hotspur lifting trophies. And in answer to Chris's question, there, I do believe. I did think this about Mourinho and Pochettino, admittedly, but I think Antonio Conte is the man that if he can't do it, as I said earlier, then nobody can. I genuinely think he's the one that's going to get us over the line, because there's just something different about the way he's going about things to all the other managers we've had over the recent years, to be honest with you. And just knowing what he did at Chelsea and seeing what he did at Inter, you know what you're getting with Conte. And if you don't buy into his way of thinking, then you're out the door. And you would exactly, and you would hope that Levy, that conversation must have happened with Daniel Levy about being backed. You would think in his interview for the job that he would have said, "Okay, you want me? That's great. We've sorted the money out. But if I want a player, I'm telling you, I want that player because it's going to make this team better and it's going to win us trophies. And if you don't go all out to get me that player, then I'm off. If I'm telling you what we need to do, what I need, the tools to get the job done. And if Levy doesn't give him those tools, then he's going to walk. And then Daniel Levy's got a massive, massive problem on his hands. So that's why I believe he is going to be backed. Whether he's backed in January, like Leo said, it's difficult, the January window, as Steve Hitchin will no doubt say. But I still think we're going to get a few players in January in key positions, but next summer will be the one where Conte will really stamp his authority on this squad. And I think over the next 2 windows, you're going to see a lot of players go out the door as well, because it needs to happen. It does need to happen, and I think Conte is the man to do that, Chris. Yes, 100%.
What cup do you think we could win if you had to pick one?
I personally don't.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't
it's been
think
so long.
Which is the most likely?
I think the Carabao Cup, actually. I'd love to win the FA Cup again,
More than the
because
Conference one?
something special.
More than the Conference one?
What more do I think, or what I'd want?
Do you think out of all the cups available, which one do you think the most likely one do you think would win?
I think the Carabao, to be honest with you. I think that's the one we've got this.
3 more games.
Yeah, we've only got 3 more games. If we beat West Ham, we've got a 2-leg semi-final and then the final. So,
But who else is left in the Carabao?
Liverpool.
Oh, well, forget it then. See you guys later.
Chelsea, Arsenal. Arsenal in it, I think. I can't remember. I think they are. City got knocked out.
the City.
There's a couple of lower teams. Sunderland, I think, are in it still.
Do you know what? Forget who's left. We just need to concentrate on our games and win our games. That's what we're going to do.
Conference one, I think we've got more chance with in the conference one. You know, we would expect this, will we? The conference.
The thing is, though, Leo, with someone like Antonio Conte, he's not here just to make the numbers up. He's not here just to finish in the top 4. He will want success. He will want glory at this club.
Yeah.
But it's whether we can get that this season, though. Of course, we want cups. Next season, I definitely want to be challenging for the title. I don't care. And I think if Levy can back Conte fully and bring it, because I heard that Spurs are not a broke team. We've got super billionaires that run Spurs, and I think they're spending money. And if they really want to win, they should back Conte. And if they're going to back Conte, I think we can do something. I honestly believe that, but he needs to be back. I don't really see it happening. Obviously, can't challenge this season. Maybe a Conference Cup this season, Carabao Cup this season, hopefully. But next season is the season that I'm talking about, where we really need to pull it out the bag.
Leo, would you take top 4 or a cup this season?
Here we go.
Got to ask him.
Top 4 cup. I'll take.
Top 4 or a cup.
I'll take a cup. I'll take a cup. Yeah, I'll take a cup. Yeah, the reason why I'll take a cup is because we've had top 4, and yeah, it's all right. But once you've won a cup, it's like, yeah, we've won something. We are the holders of this thing. This is our baby. You know, we're now going to defend our child next season. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think you're a winner then. You're a winner. You know, and I think we need. I'd rather have that, because we've had top 4 many times, and as much as we want to be in the Champions League, great, but a cup gives you the fact that you can do this, you know, and have. Yeah, I think it means a lot. What would you prefer, Craig? Yeah.
I would go for both, to be honest with you.
I know you're being greedy.
No, I'd probably go for a cup. I'll probably go for a cup, because I hadn't actually thought about that in the way that you just said that, Leo. It's a really good point, actually, because we've had top 4, and I think we will get top 4 going forward again. We will. But cup, there's only 4 or 5 competitions you can win a year,
right?
So it's difficult. It's difficult to win. It's easier to get top 4 than win a trophy, you could argue. So yeah, for me, it's been 2008. It's been far too long. We need a bit of silverware at that new stadium.
That's my line. That's my line, Craig.
Sorry, mate.
We need what? Sorry,
silverware.
It's been far too long.
Were you at the game, the Chelsea 2008 game?
Yeah, and it's far too long. Far too long, Leo. It's unbelievable. It really is.
How many years is that? That's over 12 years. 12 years now?
The thing is, I love about Antonio Conte is that every single game, regardless of what competition it is, he takes it very seriously. And that again, and I'm going to go back to the last Thursday's game, that's probably why it upset me more, and it probably upset him more as well, the fact that he'd given these players opportunities in a game, a competitive game that he wanted to see them in, having been at training for a couple of weeks with a lot of them, the ones that didn't go on international duty, and they didn't take their opportunities because, even in a friendly, Antonio Conte won't take a friendly as a friendly. He wants to win absolutely everything. That is why he's a born winner. I love it. Craig, let's come back to you. Would you like to talk us through the first goal? It was first credited to Ben Davies and now later credited as an own goal.
Yeah, sorry, there's a bit of feedback from somebody. It's like clicking.
It's Gary.
I don't know. It's Gary, is it?
There's not much I can do in the middle of Tottenham on my mobile. Sellotape to the steering wheel. Sorry.
What's the matter? Your phone knackered or something? Is it?
No, I'm just got it taped to the steering wheel. I'm not
taped.
I'm in the car.
Oh, right.
Actually, Gary, when you're not talking, can you just mute your mic, please?
Yeah. Well, I might as well not mute it then.
That's better.
Oh.
Is he muted everything now?
I don't know what. Just wait for him to.
Is somebody in your boot trying to escape, Gary?
That's better. That's better.
Don't ask him any questions.
Where are you going? He's got. Hold on. You've got a packet of sweets, and you've got hanging in the boot. Like, this is a bit dodgy. Like, what's going on there?
Craig, we all thought that Ben Davies had given us a 1-0 lead, and it's gone down as an own goal.
Yeah. I was a bit. You could actually see the way he sort of like wheeled away, that he was celebrating. It was one of those that he celebrated, thinking I could get away with this. Then suddenly realised there's about 20 cameras and 60,000 people watching him, and he weren't going to get away with it. It was a good crafted goal. Really, it was good. It was good to see him up there, to be honest with you, and he nearly nicked one in the second half as well. So I think Ben Davies has been playing pretty well, to be honest, under Conte. And I think that's probably where his best position is now, in the three, on the left-handed side of three. We're playing three at the back. He didn't really do much wrong tonight, and he actually was getting forward a fair bit, which is unusual, isn't it? But it was a bit of a lucky goal in the end, wasn't it? But it was a good cross into the box, to be honest, and it caused a bit of confusion, and we got the goal. So
he's definitely one of the winners, isn't he, Ben Davies, with Antonio Conte's appointment, because he wasn't getting this much game time before.
No, he is, and I think you said that, Chris. I agree with the players that you said are going to thrive, not necessarily thrive, but be a winner under Conte. Is Ben Davies, Harry Winks, and Eric Dyer, and I can't argue with that. You just can see the sort of players that is going to be his sort of type of players, and you could probably throw in Oliver Skipp into that as well. Not that he wasn't the first choice starter anyway, but Harry Winks. I thought when he came on tonight, I thought he started off well, and then not much worked out for him tonight. Harry Winks, did it? But he was buzzing around. One thing you say about Harry Winks is he is one of the fittest players in the team, I think you could say. Hopefully Conte will put his arm around him and get him playing, because I don't think he'll be going anywhere in the transfer window.
You don't think? You think
no.
Winks, you think Winks is a Conte player?
I think he's a Conte player. I think he's a good squad player. In the eyes of Conte, I think you won't see Harry Winks going anywhere in January.
And why do you think that? I mean, what is it that Winks brings to the team?
I just think I can't really explain it, but I can just tell he's a Conte type of player. He's a hard-working midfield. The one thing you could never say that Harry Winks is lazy. I think he would really listen.
He will really listen to Antonio Conte, and he will want to play exactly how Antonio Conte is demanding. And I think that he will buy into whatever Conte tells him, what to do. I think he will buy into it 100% and give 100% all the time, better than someone like Ndombele. I think that Harry Winks will give his all for the club.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If you're in training and he's giving them instructions, you've got Winks standing there looking him right in the eye and nodding and taking it all in. And you've got Ndombele standing next to him in his hat, looking at the floor. You just know which one's going to get more game time than the other, and you can't argue against that. I don't think anybody could argue a case for Ndombele at the moment.
No, you can't. But for me, whenever I look at players, I always ask myself, especially Spurs players, what are you known for? Like, what is it you do? Like with Højbjerg, you know what Højbjerg's done. He's hard tackling in the midfield. If you say what is Højbjerg's attributes, you say he's a midfield general, hard tackling. He wins the ball, he gives it. You won't say he's a goal scorer. You would attribute hard tackling in the midfield, winning the ball back. With Kane, you say he's a goal scorer. With Son, you say he's got pace. He does this. I don't know what Winks does. I mean, what would you say Winks is going to give you? What attribute are you going to say you associate with a player like Winks?
No, and I think that's half Harry Winks' problem. I don't think any of us are not even sure he knows what his best position is.
Well, position is like, what do you bring?
Well, I just think you bring.
goals.
Do you know what, Leo? I think if Antonio Conte gets Harry Winks passing the ball forward and gets him shooting at goal, then we've got a success.
Yeah, but now you're just creating a player that doesn't exist. It's like me saying, it's like if you can get Sanchez to trap the ball and actually know to pass it to his own player and defend well, it's like, yeah, of course, anyone will be a good player if you can get someone to do that. But a player has to have something as a default setting. What do you bring? I don't know what Winks does.
The thing is, if Oliver Skip or Pierre-Emile Højbjerg don't play in a game, if they're suspended or injured or they need to be rested because of the amount of games that we've got to play, Harry Winks is the obvious choice to come in, and Antonio Conte will give him a job to do, and he will stick to that job.
So you don't think there's other players that we can bring in that can do that and pass forward and probably assist?
Who are you thinking?
No, I'm just saying in the transfer window. I mean, there's...
Oh, in the transfer window. It'd be interesting in the transfer window. We'll talk about the rest of the game and then we'll get on to the transfer window because it will be interesting to see what happens. You don't always get best players in January. And, historically, Tottenham don't really do that much in the January transfer window. I think that the major business that we will do will be in the summer. You're not always going to get top quality players in January because clubs just don't want to let the players go. It'll be an interesting time. Leo, I promise we'll clear the game up and then we'll come on to talk about transfers. Yeah, Gary, let's come to you. So nice to see Heung-min Son on the score sheet tonight. Superb work from Sergio Reguilon in the second half.
Yeah, brilliant. I don't know if there's going to be loads of feedback here. If it gets really bad, I'll leave and maybe come back in, and that might work. I don't know. But yeah, so I was really pleased with Son. I thought Son looked a lot better. Look, he was desperate for a goal. He needed one. He does go a bit quiet, Son. But yeah, he had a good game. It was interesting though because he had an opportunity to score a second one, and it was really weird because he just scored. You thought he would have just taken it first time, but maybe it's a confidence thing, you see, because he kind of waited too long and then the opportunity went. And if he would have smashed it first time, I think he probably got a second goal. But maybe that's a confidence thing. Yes, he scored tonight. Yes, he played well, but he's still got a bit of a way to go. I mean, we know Son does go quiet for a while, but he was quiet for quite a while. So I was pleased he got a goal today. But look, I think, Leo, I was on mute, but with Harry Winks, I think he makes up the numbers like what Chris says. I think, and the problem we have in January is I don't think there's going to be much opportunities to get necessarily anyone that much better than Harry Winks and get him out and someone else in. And I think that's why, because we're in the Europa Conference League with extra games now, thankfully, because we lost to Mora, those sort of players like Harry Winks, although they're not very talented and great, even you could say Doherty, who's been awful, we're probably going to need to leave them sitting on the fence because we are going to have to use them as rubbish as they are. But I think by summertime, quite a few of them players will be gone. I don't think Winks will, but I think Doherty and quite a few others will be gone. But I don't think much will change in January, unfortunately. But I think that's why I think we're going to keep someone like Harry Winks. And I'm by no way Harry Winks fan, and Craig and Chris will tell you that. But I don't think he'll be going anywhere. And I think that's the reason why. I think it's like you look at some of them players like Sanchez and stuff, and you think to yourself, he had such a bad game at Mora. You think to yourself, well, with the Burnley game, he's not going to start in the Burnley game because he was so bad in the Mora game. And he did. And you think to yourself, well, why did he start? You think, because we don't have much choice. I think that is the problem. With big squads and with decent players, if a player makes two mistakes like that in the Man City team or the Man United team, he's gone. But in the Tottenham team, at this precise moment, we have to play with what we've got, unfortunately. But I do trust in Conte, and I do think we'll be looking at a very, very different Tottenham team over the course of the next year, and it will be, for positive reasons, much, much better. But it's going to take a bit of time. It's good.
Do you think the reason he played after such? Do you think the reason Sanchez played after such a poor game was because if you were to drop him, that would really ruin his confidence? And You know, it's like you need to manage players. Like, come on, you had a bad game, and then to drop him, he already feels bad because he feels guilty for supporting, and then to be dropped, I think that would be a killer thing. I think he had such a bad game that Conte had to play him. He had to play him.
Yeah. I don't think Sanchez could have any less confidence than what he has anyway. if you remember back to Mourinho, quite clearly, I remember him bringing Eric Dyer on, and then after 15 minutes, bringing him off.
Right.
He weren't having none of it. And like you said, I respected Mourinho because he had the balls to do stuff like that. So the reason why Conte left Sanchez on, and well, we didn't play Burnley for obvious reasons, Chris knows, because of the weather, but I don't personally feel he left Sanchez on to kind of put an arm around him and say, oh, you know, look, you've made a couple of mistakes, but I'm going to stick with you. I think he kept Sanchez on because there was no real other option at the moment. And I think even with Rodon,
you don't think Rodon could
an experience though? That's the problem.
I'm sure, Leo, that all of the centre backs will get their chances because, as I said, you know, including tonight's game, 9 games in December. That's an awful lot of games, and you know we know that we're going to pick up the odd suspension or injury as well. So you know they're all going to be given game time. Gary, would you mind just putting your microphone on mute again? After Tottenham's win tonight, we're now up to 6th in the Premier League. We've now played 13, won 7, drawn 1, lost 5. Goal difference now of -4. We have 22 points. And really weirdly, you know, if we win our game in hand, we will be in the top 4 behind Chelsea, Manchester City and Liverpool, who, you know, all 3 teams are on fire. So this Antonio Conte effect, you know, in just these few weeks, you know, is starting to materialise. Leo, let's come on to your favourite subject, the transfer window then. You've mentioned a number of players possibly going out the door. What players would you like to come in? And, you know, I thought that I would just like to say as well, you mentioned him earlier, our captain and goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris. Yeah. He's out of contract in the summer. Would you like to see him stay for another year or 2?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't really know any other goalkeeper that, you know. Yeah, I think that he's a world-class goalkeeper. I mean, I think we were linked to who is that? Is it Everton? Is it Everton goalkeeper? No, is it Everton?
Pickford, yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I think we were linked with him. But I think Lloris is better than Pickford anyway. Yeah. So I think keeping Lloris on for a couple more seasons is a top signing. You know, yeah, I think he's good because I will stick with Lloris for sure. Are you talking about other players?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the people that we all definitely agree, Doherty needs to leave for sure because even for his sake, you know, I think he's not even happy himself, and he knows, God knows what sort of abuse he's getting on his socials, but he needs to move on because he just doesn't even look like he can play football. Literally, he just is. So he needs to go. Sanchez, obviously, you know, another guy. I mean, he must have a show reel of embarrassment. Like, I mean, there was one game, I think it was against Man City, where good again. I forget his name. He the long ball came in, and he was like a rag doll, like Sanchez, literally twisting his neck.
On the floor.
He was on the floor, and I'm thinking you can literally compile you know, one of those videos of Sanchez's bloopers, right? Everyone else has got goal scoring. Sanchez has got bloopers, right? You could do an hour of that.
The thing is, Leo, with something like that, and I completely agree with you, with something like that, do you think Antonio Conte is the man to improve someone like Davinson Sanchez? Because we all know that you know, some of these players are quality players. You know, some players have lost form, some players have lost confidence. Do you think Antonio Conte is the man to, you know, get the best out of people like Davinson Sanchez? You mentioned it earlier, stating that, you know, the reason, you know, that it could be that Sanchez has played in this Premier League game tonight and was going to be playing at Burnley on Sunday after that, you know, really poor performance at Mura, is for confidence. Is Antonio Conte going to improve players like this and not sell them?
Antonio Conte can improve players without a shadow of a doubt. Antonio Conte can turn players into a different position, no shadow of a doubt. But Antonio Conte said he's not a magician, and and I think with players like Sanchez, you need to have a default attributes that you can work with, and I don't think Sanchez has that. He's clumsy. I remember when I watched the Amazon program, and Mourinho came in and he said he said something to Sanchez about how when Tottenham were playing Manchester United, he's told his Manchester United to target Sanchez because Sanchez doesn't have any legs. You understand? And he's told that to, and I'm thinking, everyone knows that he's a liability, and Mourinho couldn't do anything with him. So I think Sanchez is. He just looks clueless on the ball. He's got 2 left feet. He's just got too many mistakes, and I wouldn't want to put him in a team of other players that are gonna be pulling out the results just for him in the 89th minute to do a blooper and lose us a final or lose us the 3 points. It's too much of a liability, and I don't think it's why do that when you can get. You can go to any other. I can happily go to any other Premiership team and pick a defender over Sanchez easily, and I don't think it's that difficult. Why would you want to risk all that effort training a guy that doesn't have the ability? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do think he did play him for his confidence, because we don't have enough players, and I think if he had dropped him, it would have. Because we can't change players now. These are all the players we have. And I think for him to play him was a good move, because he has to keep the morale up. He has his player management still. It's not just on the pitch, it's off the pitch. So he has to keep players motivated, not too demotivated. And I think if he had dropped Sanchez for the Burnley game or this game, I think it would have been totally devastating for him.
Leo, what do you think about Dele Alli? Will we see the best of Dele Alli again?
Dele Alli, man, is a TikTok player, man. Like this guy, I mean, I've been saying it for. I said it when he did that. When he started, what's that dance move? That one. What's that one that the kids would? What's that one? That one.
You're the musician.
What's that move, Craig? You know the. What's that?
Yeah. One? Oh God.
You know how we
floss.
Right. Yeah. When I knew the reason when I lost it with Dele was when he scored against Chelsea, 20-something minutes. He ran across and he started doing that, and I said, "This guy's not serious." I said, "I want you out. I want you out," because when you're watching a derby like that as a fan, you're nervous, right? You're on edge. You're thinking, and then we eventually score, and then you're seeing a player do that. You're thinking, "What are you doing?" Like, come on, the game's not over, man. Get your head in the game and get back in. And then we lost that game 2-1. And I was watching the replay, a match of the day, and I was thinking, look at you. You were dancing. What do you have to say for yourself now after all this floss thing that you did? What was the point of that? So for me, it's like, as much as he was fantastic before, I just don't think he has the mental attitude or fortitude to deal with being a top player. When you're seeing other players come above you and get into the England team, right? When you were supposed to be the chosen one, when you were the one that everyone wanted, Sir Alex Ferguson thought you were the guy. Everyone thought you were the guy. England had you like that. And then you can see all these other players, Mason Mount, all these other Chelsea players, boys, just come from nowhere and take your spot. And then all you're doing is getting haircuts, dodgy haircuts, and doing stupid, like, you're not serious. Mourinho told him that, sat him down and said to him, are you Dele's brother? Are you going to regret it if you don't, take your opportunity now? You're going to regret it. He said that to him, and he's still not putting it in. He had a great chance opportunity against Mora to do something, and what did he do? It's like, mate, I don't have time for players like that. Conte doesn't have time for players like that. He needs to move on to another club and try and build something, because we as Spurs fans want to win. We want to win now. We want to win this season. We want to win every game. And we ain't got time to be carrying players or trying to massage them and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm done with him.
Craig, let's come to you. It's now less than a month away now until the January transfer window opens. Realistically, what do you see happening in the January transfer window? Players in and players out.
God, yeah, it's probably a big difference to what actually is going to happen. Or what I'd rather happen.
Because I sense that a lot of fans at the moment think that there is going to be a lot of activity in January. Do you?
I'd love to think that. But I just can't see it for the reasons you highlighted earlier. That you know, historically we've never done much business in January. I can remember Januaries where, you know, I've been staying up, eagerness, you know, to the go to Michael Bridge or whoever it is goes to what, you know, the training ground for news from Tottenham, and he's standing there, all the lights are off, and that's it, you know. Nothing happening at all. And there's part of me that could probably see it happening again, but realistically I could see a couple perhaps going out on loan and perhaps getting a couple of players in. I don't think it'll be. Sorry, mate, say again.
A Kessie player. Kessie.
Vitesse. Oh, no, Kessie.
Yeah. In midfield.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know much about him. I don't know much about him at all.
He seems
definitely need a player.
Very strong. He's very direct, composed on the ball. A player
we need a playmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're crying out for a playmaker. I mean, backup striker, new striker, additional striker, however you want to word it. Excuse me. I think he'll go for another centre back. It's clear he doesn't fancy Joe Rodon. It's a funny one, Joe Rodon, isn't it? Because he seems to have not progressed under any manager. You know, he came in against Chelsea. He didn't have a bad game, did he? He made one mistake that Giroud nearly scored from, but apart from that, he played pretty well. And I thought, oh, we actually got a pretty good young lad here that's going to push on and challenge for first team spot, and it's never happened, has it? So, and again with Romero being out, you know, if he's going to be out till end of January, February, are they going to go for another centre back? I think they will, but I genuinely think if they can't get who they want in January, they might just run with what we've got rather than bringing in, unless you can get somebody on loan. But that's why it's so difficult, isn't it? So, in answer to your question, Chris, I think 2 out on loan and perhaps 2 in. And I don't think you'll probably see much, you know, sadly, I just don't think you'll see much more than that, to be honest.
Craig, if we were to sign someone like a creative midfielder, how would they fit into this system at the moment? Because, you know, it seems that Antonio Conte likes playing, you know, the 2 holding midfielders in Pierre Højbjerg and Oliver Skipp. You know, how does he put a creative midfielder in there as well?
Well, if you remember going back to Eriksen, I talk about Eriksen a lot. And to be honest, if he was still able to play, and I hope he is still able to play, I think there's a good case for going back in for him for a loan move for 6 months, just to get him back playing football again, if he was allowed to. But if you remember, Eriksen used to come off the left a lot, didn't he? He never used to play. I couldn't actually tell you now where Eriksen used to play. He used to buzz around everywhere. So for somebody like Eriksen, who was box to box, he could fit in, whether that be, it would mean Skipp or Højbjerg dropping out. Somebody like an Eriksen could fit in there. You could also play him off the left, a bit further up front. But that's the beauty of a player like Eriksen. Didn't really have a fixed position, but he did so much work and ran so far. You never really noticed where he was playing. He was always where you wanted him to be. So it's a funny one. What's going on?
Gary, let's come to you. Realistically, what are Tottenham going to do in the transfer window, in and out? You know, what players and what positions, you know, do we need to strengthen in January?
Apologies, I sound like I came out and looked back in with it, there's loads of feedback. I don't think they're going to do much. They're probably going to go to the 16 shop across the road from the stadium, get some nice food in, and that'll be about it, because January is the worst transfer window. So we all know who we want out, who we need. Really see.
Gary, your sound is really poor. We can hardly hear you.
Yeah, fine. Put it up full blast as well. So that's that. So I just come into
Gary, go on mute. We'll come back to you in a second. Leo, I use the word realistic. You know, what realistically do you think that Tottenham will do in the transfer window? You know, what will Antonio Conte be saying to Fabio Paratici and Daniel Levy right now? You know, what will he be going in there saying, look, we need to do this in January? What players will he want to bring in what positions?
I think he'll definitely want to bring in a centre-back for sure, creative midfielder. And I think I probably not necessarily. I mean, if it's a striker, I think we would want to wait for the summer to get a proper striker. I don't think a proper striker is going to be available in January. I think what he's probably going to. I think because we have enough attacking options at Spurs. I mean, I really like Brian Gill. I really like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's one to watch. I definitely think what Conte will tell Levy is, look, let's get, you know, a really solid backline and a midfield and a creative midfielder. I think those would be the two areas that, you know, if I was managing, that's what I would focus on. I think that's what we need right now in the interim. And then I think for the summertime, then we can look to strengthen the overall team and get rid of players. I think right now, I think what Conte will do is, you know, try and keep as many of the players that we have. I don't think a lot of players would go, because I don't think we'll be able to replace them. So I think it's better to keep as much players as we can, and then just add a few, like a couple players in defence and midfield.
Craig, let's come to you. With Antonio Conte's appointment, how are you feeling about the push for, you know, good European football, Champions League football, or indeed Europa League football? You know, to improve our season on last season, it means that we would need to finish 6th or above. Do you think that Antonio Conte will get us over that line and get us Champions League football for next year?
God, I think it would be a major achievement, because let's face it, you're not playing for top 4, you're playing for 4th, because we're not going to finish above Chelsea, City or Liverpool. So there's one spot up for grabs. Excuse me. So you're fighting it out, you would think, between you have to sling West Ham in, Arsenal, Leicester, perhaps. It's probably 1 from 4 that's going to get that full spot. So if you break that down into a mini league, I think we've got a chance to get top 4, to be honest with you. If you look at it like that, and that's not me being hopeful or anything, but you'd like to think that we've got as much in the tank as those teams that I mentioned. So he's gonna see it. I think it depends how the winter period goes, how the transfer window goes,
and injuries as well.
You know, and injuries. Yeah, you've got to be a bit lucky with injuries, because West Ham have been very lucky with injuries so far. Antonio's been out a couple of times, but you know, on the whole, they're big players. Declan Rice hasn't had injuries. Souček, Kufal, you know, they're big players, have been playing every game.
Hopefully
and they've been playing well
as well. Hopefully Kane doesn't get injured, because then that's
absolutely. Hopefully Kane doesn't. There are some that would argue that we wouldn't actually notice, but I don't agree with that. I don't buy into that. I think Kane does probably more than people give him credit for, even when he's not scoring goals, because he will occupy centre backs and defenders, because they won't just want to leave him unmarked. They'll put 2 people on him. You saw tonight, a lot of the time you're surrounded by 2 players as soon as he got the ball, because they know how dangerous he is. You could see that that's what Brentford were trying to do. And he played quite a few good balls through and was that playmaker again. So, you know, he does bring a lot to the party. He's just not scoring goals at the moment, but that will come. That will come back. You know, he's not forgotten how to score goals. So I think Conte will, in the back of his mind, he won't come out and say it, but he will be thinking, God, if I can get us into the top 4 and into the Champions League positions, and there's no reason we shouldn't, by the way, then that's a massive achievement and a massive step forward, because the last few seasons, Chris, we've been going backwards, haven't we? So it'd be nice to go forwards for a change.
This season has definitely got to be about progression and positivity. Gary, let's try your microphone again. Comment on screen here. If Antonio Conte reaches top 4 with Spurs, it will be his biggest achievement. Surely that is his goal, isn't it? Top 4 this season.
Yeah, it's his goal. Will we get top 4 this season? I mean, it's not impossible, but I'd just be happy getting a trophy. If we finished in the top 6 and got a trophy, you know, for me, that would be a good season. But to be honest with you, with the likes of United and stuff, I mean, look, even Chelsea yesterday against Watford, I mean, they didn't look good, Chelsea, did they? Let's be honest about it. I know everyone's tipping them to win the league, and I think they probably will, but I think top 4 is doable. But I've got to be honest, I don't think this season we'll get it, but I do think we'll win a trophy this season. I do think we will get top 4. But I think we're in January in a sub window first. I think we're just a little bit short. But we're not too short to maybe win the Carabao or the Europa Conference. That I think is doable.
Leo, let's come to you. Adrian writes on screen now. Conte has got 7 points in 3 league games. Of course, that 0-0 draw away at Everton and 2 home wins. It's not been a bad start under his management, is it, in the Premier League?
No, it's been fantastic. And I think the type of manager Conte is, you know, coming into any team, he's going to have an instant impact, you know, with his passion and his record and who he is and his presence and everything like that. It can only galvanize the players to perform, you know. So we've had 3 games, we've got 7 points out of 9, which is fantastic, which is great. Nuno had the same thing, but see how that turned out. So Nuno had a better record actually, but then it kind of flopped. But I think with Conte, is, you know, and plus obviously we've got some good games coming up. We've got Norwich on Sunday. We've got Rennes, and then we've got who else we've got after Rennes? But Brighton. So I think with those run of games, I see us winning those 3 games, which would be a fantastic start for any manager, especially for Conte as well. And it will give the team confidence. It will give Conte confidence. It would give the fans confidence. You said that we'll be in top 4, which should be great. Hopefully, we want to have a good Christmas, don't we, guys? We want to be above Arsenal. I'm glad that they lost today. I was so happy that Arsenal lost. So we want to get up there. We want to be above West Ham. It's going to be a struggle if it will be above Chelsea, because you know they're at the top right now with Tuchel and these guys. But I think, you know, Conte has done a fantastic job, and I think he'll continue to do a fantastic job. I'm so a Conte fan. You know, I wish him all the best. You know, if I can, you know, go to the Spurs ground with a Conte banner, I will do it. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not.
We want to hear you singing in there, Leo.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna actually start writing some Spurs chants. Actually, I need to find out who gets these chants going. I mean, do you think if I went there and started singing, people would join in?
Of course they would. Of course they would. Gary certainly would. Anyway, I know Gary's been quiet tonight, but he's the loudest person I know, so he'll certainly get your chants going.
Yeah. I need to look at the players and come up with some nice little ditties for these players, you know. And then try them out every weekend and see which one catches.
Absolutely.
I look like a fool if I start singing. Everyone's like, "Could you sit down, mate? We're trying to watch the game." Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Well, let's come on to the last question of the night. The Norwich game on Sunday. Leo, let's start with you. Surely, you know, we just spoke about Antonio Conte's 3 games in charge in the Premier League for Spurs, unbeaten. Surely you must be very confident going into this Norwich game on Sunday, bearing in mind they're sitting in 19th in the Premier League. They've only won 2 from 14. They've only got 10 points. What have you made of Norwich so far this season? And feel free to give us a score prediction for Sunday's game.
So Norwich game, it reminds me of the Mora situation again. You know, we're playing a team that's down and out, and really and truly a team that Tottenham is expecting to beat comfortably. You know, it's the same situation as what we had with the Mora, and I think Conte is going to tell the players, look, we can't be embarrassed now. These guys are kind of like the whipping boys. We need to, you know, you need to show me that Mora was a one-off and come good on Sunday and tuck these boys in, and let's get the 3 points. There's no excuse. You need to pull it out the bag. We need goals and we need to keep a clean sheet. So I think goal prediction, I'm thinking 3-1.
Brilliant.
3-1 Spurs.
Craig, how are you feeling ahead of Sunday's game?
Yeah, I pretty much the same. I just think if you can't beat Norwich, you might as well give up, and that's no disrespect to Norwich. I think we should be. I think we should be looking to keep a clean sheet and win. I'm going to go 3-0. Actually, you know, I don't think that's being too positive. I just think that they're going to see this as possibly one should be on paper. And I know football matches are not one on paper, but it should be one of the easiest games they're going to play this season in the Premier League. We know there's not easy games, but there are easier games. So I'm going to go 3-0, a comfortable win for Spurs.
I actually agree with Keith's comment on screen here. I'll take 2-0 again with a performance like tonight, and that's exactly what I think we're going to get. I think it's going to be a good week for us. A win tonight, a win on Sunday, and a win next Thursday to take us through to the playoffs in the Europa Conference League. Let's hope so anyway. Gary, how are you feeling ahead of the game against Norwich, and what have you made of them this season so far?
I'll be really quick. This feedback's not going to be great. Apologies. But, yeah, look, Norwich is just that team. They're too nice. They don't take enough risks. I don't have any worries with Norwich. I think we're probably going to beat them 3-0. And then just touching on Red. You and me, Chris, we went to the away game in Rennes, and they're no pushovers. You know, that was a tough game. We got equalised. I think it was Højbjerg got us back into that 2-2. But Rennes looked good, you know. But I think we'll have enough at home. I think because we're at home, we'll beat them. But we'll probably only beat them 2-0. But both wins. I think we're going to make a lot more opportunities, but it's just taking them. You know, the thing is, as we're making chances, I'm happy. But at the moment, you know, Son's really doing well and Kane's not. So, but 2-0 and 3-0. Job done.
You said 2-0 and 3-0? Did you say 2-0 and 3-0? I can't even hear what you're saying.
Gary, we're having real problems trying to hear you.
There's a person in his boot. That's what's happening. He's got someone in the boot. Tell me, will you stop making noise? I'm trying to do it. Stop it! I'll tell you what, Leo. This is the quietest we've ever known Gary to be. So it's quite funny in a way. Where are you going to bury it, Gary?
Leo, the reason why I asked the question of what have you made of Norwich so far this season, even at St James's Park the other night in their draw, it seemed that Delia Smith even fell asleep watching them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Norwich, man. I mean, Norwich are one of those teams that I remember back in the day when if you said Norwich were coming to the Premiership, you were like, Norwich, dead team. But you know they've been here and they've played all right. But I think this season, I don't know, man. They've really been struggling, really been struggling to get any form. And they played Newcastle, and Newcastle have been dead as well. So two dead teams playing each other and kind of cancelling each other out. No wonder Delia Smith feels to sleep. I mean, how many times is she going to go on the pitch and trying to rally the team? It's finished. I don't know what she needs. She needs to just go back and start preparing food for Christmas. I don't know what she's doing going to the game for. She should get back in the kitchen and stop wasting time, you know. But I think on Sunday we're gonna tuck them in. We call them the Canaries, isn't it? Is that the Canaries? Yeah, they're gonna be stuffed. They're gonna be stuffed for Christmas. Yeah, so we need to get the potatoes, the gravy. We're gonna come with the mayonnaise, the ketchup, all the condiments down. Are we at the lane, or are we up at their place?
We're home. We're home.
Well, it's game over. Bring the condiments, bring the mayonnaise, salt and pepper, bring the stuffing, bring the Bramley sauce. The Canaries are getting stuffed for Christmas, and yeah, I'll take the leg and breast. I don't know what you take.
Well, I'll just take a win. I'll take a win in every game there. That's all I take.
You're going to be there for sure.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I'll be there. I'll be there. Yes. I've got Gary coming in the car now.
No, it'll be after 9 o'clock. Sorry,
Leo.
It's like a dodgy. What have I signed up for? This is like a dodgy thing.
Leo, obviously you used to sing with the Streets. What are you up to now?
Oh man, there's so many things, man. I've got so I've been away for a while, getting my Denzel on, doing a lot of acting, and I've got a few shows coming out. There's a BBC sitcom coming out called Pandemonium, which is going to be dropping in the new year. What else? I've started a artist development academy where I look after artists, and I produce videos and songs for them and stuff like that. I've got too many things, man. I think maybe when I'm probably going to talk now and forget most of the stuff that I do, but I do quite a lot of stuff. It's really exciting stuff. I'm getting back into the music, so I've got some new album dropping next year, and I've got a new TV show. I'm going to be doing a new music TV show that's going to be dropping as well next year. But watch this space. It's going to be exciting. 2022 next year. Yeah. So the line is back, baby. The line is back. So
well, Leo, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Chris. I mean, it's an honor, man. I've been watching your show for a while, and I've been really, as a Spurs fan, it's good to have to go and see other fellow Spurs fans, and what you do is fantastic. All the effort that you going in there, traveling up and down the country, mate. You pull it out the bag, and I appreciate it for you. And I say, on behalf of all the Spurs fans, I say thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Leo. It's been really nice having you on. And Craig, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Not a problem. Always a pleasure. I have to say, whenever somebody like Leo comes on, it makes me think, God, my life is boring. I tell you. So I really get ask Leo for a job. It sounds a lot more exciting than what I do.
Come, man. There's so many jobs available, man. You got to live life.
We've had a couple of comments like this, Leo, today. Nice digs. Is it a nightlight or a swimming pool in the ceiling? I think we're going to have to do a live show around your gaff.
All right, what have we got? It's what is that? No, that's my light thing. I got a TV thing there. That's my TV.
Is this MTV Cribs?
Cribs. Let's turn this into Cribs.
Is this Cribs?
What is this? My house is messy. That's my kitchen. There's my light. I had to put a special light on for you guys.
Must be a pro. He's got a ring light. I like it.
Hey, Gary, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Chris, run! Chris, run!
God, is he naked?
Chris,
Jesus.
What's going on? What's going on?
There's never a dull moment with Gary. It's one thing for sure. Well, thank you so much to everybody who's joined us for the live. It's been a pleasure having Gary, Craig, and Leo on. the stream, and hopefully Tottenham Hotspur can get another win on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and climb in to the top 4. Wouldn't that be nice? And of course, it's going to be a very busy December as well. So hopefully we can pick up a number of wins on the way. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And I'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.